The story of Saint Gregory the Great.
Subscribe to our channel to receive more content like this.
Today, I want to tell you a story about a man who started with a life of privilege, but chose a life of service, humility, and love. His name is Saint Gregory the Great, and even though he lived over 1,400 years ago, the lessons from his life still speak to us today. Let's go back, way back, to the city of Rome in the year 540 AD. The Roman Empire, once mighty and powerful, had crumbled. The city was a shadow of its former self, filled with crumbling buildings, disease, and fear. People were struggling, and the world felt very uncertain. In the middle of this, a boy named Gregory was born into a wealthy and noble family. His parents were devout Christians, and they made sure he had the best education. Gregory was brilliant. He quickly rose through the ranks of society and, before long, became the mayor of Rome, a position of incredible power and influence. He had everything: wealth, status, respect. By all accounts, Gregory was set for a life of comfort. But Gregory's heart was restless. Deep down, he knew there had to be more to life than power and luxury. The suffering he saw around him, the poor, the sick, the lost, it stirred something inside him. One day, Gregory made a bold decision. He gave up everything. He left politics behind, turned his family home into a monastery, and became a monk, dedicating his life to prayer, study, and helping others. At first, Gregory thought he had finally found peace. He lived simply, away from the chaos of the world. But God had bigger plans for him. Because Gregory was so wise and compassionate, he kept getting called out of his quiet life. First, he was sent as an ambassador to Constantinople, the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire. Then, after returning to Rome, he was made the abbot, the leader of his monastery. But the biggest surprise came in the year 590. Rome was in terrible shape: plagues, floods, famines, and constant attacks from invaders. The Pope at the time had died, and the people were desperate for strong leadership. Guess who they wanted? Gregory. Even though he begged to stay in his monastery, even though he felt unworthy, Gregory was chosen, and he became Pope Gregory I. As Pope, Gregory didn't rule from a golden throne. No, he called himself the servant of the servants of God, a title popes still use today. He spent his time feeding the poor, protecting refugees, and trying to bring peace between warring tribes. He organized charity efforts, improved church music. He even helped rebuild Rome, stone by stone. Gregory had a vision too, not just for Rome, but for the whole world. He believed it was the church's duty to spread hope and faith to distant lands. He famously sent missionaries to England, a place that still clung to old pagan beliefs. Thanks to Gregory, Christianity began to flourish there, a legacy that would shape history for centuries. Despite all he accomplished, Gregory struggled with constant illness and deep personal doubts. He often wrote about feeling small and unworthy, but that's part of what made him so great. He led not with pride, but with humility, leaning on God's strength when his own wasn't enough. Gregory died in 604 AD, exhausted but faithful to the end. The Church later called him Gregory the Great, one of only a few leaders in history to be honored with that title. So, what can we learn from Saint Gregory's story? First, true greatness doesn't come from power or wealth. It comes from service. It's about lifting others up, not lifting ourselves up. Second, sometimes life calls us out of our comfort zones. Gregory didn't want to be pope. He didn't feel ready. But he trusted that if God called him, God would help him. And third, even when we feel weak or small, we can still make an incredible difference. Gregory didn't change the world because he was the strongest or the healthiest. He changed it because he was faithful, compassionate, and willing. Saint Gregory the Great reminds us that no matter where we start or how broken the world around us seems, one life, lived humbly and with love, can light a fire that burns for generations. Thanks for listening.